So, welcome to episode 59 of the Jez and Friends podcast. Today's special guest is Luke Hopman. I've known Luke for the past 7 years. He's coached me at the Flemington Juniors Football Club for a number of years and also plays footy himself and loves Collingwood. Is rebuilding as well, just like North Melbourne as well. So, how's it going, Luke? Been a while.
Yeah, I'm very, very good, Jerry. Thanks for having me on.
No worries, Luke. And as you probably know, and big fan of a potty, we always start with hypotheticals. So, I guess where do you see the Pies in 10 years' time? Do you reckon there'll be a premiership like in the next 5 years, even though it does look pretty slim?
Oh, I would hope so. I'd hope so. We've got some obviously rebuilding a bit, like you said, like the Kangaroos are now, Jez. But yeah, fingers crossed. I think it's I think having a new coach, and it's probably time for a bit of a change. And I think we've done all right with the trading this year, and we obviously get a really good draft pick like North Melbourne do for next year. So fingers crossed, things are moving back in the right direction.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And obviously, speaking about like rebuilding and the draft and stuff, you've obviously got Lipinski in, but also the prospects of Dacos. What are your thoughts on Dacos? Is he a much bigger talent than his brother Josh?
Well, you'd think so. Looking at under 18s form, his under 18s form's pretty good, but it's pretty hard for kids that are getting drafted now, isn't it? They haven't played a lot of footy in 2 years, so it's probably a bit more guesswork involved. But no, he looks like he'll be a good midfielder. I suppose it just depends how he goes with the pressure and everything that comes along with it now.
Yeah, indeed. It's pretty funny because I was at Melbourne Uni track the other day, and one kid was pacing one of the draft combine kids, and they had to like upload their 2K time trials on Strava. So I found that quite astounding, and it's pretty funny because I guess it's not as accurate as your lab tests and all that.
Yeah, I suppose did they not have the draft combine this year? I suppose because the restrictions, did they? So yeah, that makes it a bit hard, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. And maybe let's go back to obviously you were growing up in the like close to Gippsland area at Traralgon, but like what position did you play growing up? And yeah, how would you, I guess, see your own footy development still playing nowadays? Has your position kind of changed or kept it quite similar?
I play predominantly in the midfield nowadays in the over 35s older people footy, but yeah, and then back when I was back down in Traralgon and down in Gippsland, I used to play in the midfield as well and a bit of cross half back as well. But yeah, no, I always kind of played there. Not very fast, Jerry. Just kind of move very slowly and just try and get behind the footy a little bit to get a few touches.
No, we love that, Luke. I know there's a few teammates I've played with who do similar stuff in the mid. I reckon I'd compare you to kind of like a Ben Cunnington type, Luke.
I wish, Jerry. I just, it's good fun. It's good fun. I'm not, you were just saying before how you're into running and stuff and all that, but I'm not right into that. So chasing a footy around is a bit more fun than just going for a run. So I try and play as much as I can, but yeah, it's good fun.
No, that's awesome. And obviously, like the country footy is where you kind of learn a fair bit. And how would you, I guess, compare country footy to metro footy? Because you've obviously coached at Flemington for a number of years.
Yeah, it's well, I don't know. It's hard. We went down and played a Gippsland team in a practice match last year, and it was probably, I think the guys were wondering how it was going to be playing against a country footy side versus a metro footy side with the under 16s, but it didn't turn out to be much different. It's very, very similar, very much the same. You're just chasing a footy around, and you got two styles of footballers out there. You got ones that are the in and under players, and you got the ones that are good out in space. So we both had an even mix, and it was a pretty even game in the end, actually. So it was a good hit out.
Yeah, I actually remember playing that game. I guess the memory from that would be the boys probably getting too many ice creams down at the Macca's down there. So
yeah, I think that's right. I think it was a bit of a party bus on the way down as well. So I don't know how good the preparation was for the game, Jerry, but I think everyone had a good time, and that was the main aim.
No, that's amazing. Hopefully, we can get down there next year. But I guess touching on footy, obviously you've coached Noah, your son, for a number of years. How have you seen his development? I guess coaching someone you know so closely. How does it differ to coaching everyone else? I guess.
It's been good. It's good coaching. Coaching under coaching all the boys when they were back at 7 and 8 years old to seeing them how they play now is such a big change in how they play. And Noah included. It's the same. Noah probably gets sick of his dad, coaching him and telling him what to do. And I'm sure he liked it the few years that he didn't have me coaching as well. So, but yeah, no, it's good fun, and it's great seeing how the players develop and improve, and they continue to do things that just surprise you every weekend.
No, that is awesome. And obviously, when we were younger, like I remember when I first started playing with you in under 11s, obviously there's more focal went on like fundamental movement skills and like direct coaching, like coaching instructions. But nowadays, once we're hitting that like 18-year stage, like you're more focused on constrained space coaching and like learner orientated movement. So, what are your thoughts on that? I know it's pretty PE terms, but you're all over it as a coach.
I think you're definitely right, Jerry. I think in those early years, it is more about teaching the basics and the fundamentals, learning how to kick and handball and mark and doing all those things. Where now, as the players get older, it's more about tactics, where you run, the reasons why you do what you do, and it's less about teaching someone how to kick, but more about teaching, making the correct decisions and how we want to play in terms of game plan. So yeah, it does definitely change as players get older. But like I said before, it's actually quite exciting to be teaching different stages as well. So yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, and speaking of good fun, Luke, obviously training, I used to love training. I guess I took it a bit more seriously than some of the boys, but how would you, I guess, assess the training, like in terms of the different mentalities in the training groups and how you kind of cater for it?
It's hard. It is hard because every player is a little bit different, and every player is wanting to get something different out of training. Some players are down there because they want to knock around and have fun with their mates, and we've got you got some players that are really driven and competitive and want to win the 1K time trial and want to really improve at every session they do. And some players are down there half an hour before doing their own thing on their own and getting ready for training, and some players roll in 15 minutes late. So it is a real difference, and it's probably just more managing it, what the expectations is and how hard they work at training, and trying to get them all on the same page so they're all working together as a team.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Sometimes I guess pre-seasons where you kind of build that bond, because I know the 1K time trials, some of them boys are like on their GPS watches and everything, and then the others are just like, having a laugh and all that. So yeah, it's quite interesting, the whole dynamic of it.
Yeah, very different across the group.
It'll be interesting to see very soon once preseason starts how that goes. Maybe touching on preseason again, what are some of your favorite kind of workouts to give the boys, or when you're playing, like your dreaded workouts that you give us?
Definitely the dreaded workouts is just running. Really, when you're not chasing a ball isn't a massive amount of fun, and that's why generally we don't do it too much. Where we just run and we do a 1K time trial, but let's be honest, it's 3 or 4 minutes of hard work. It's not that hard really, but we don't do a lot of sprints and just 200s and that sort of thing. We focus more on game practice and match simulation, so more more around that whole decision making and making the correct decisions and working on game style rather than just doing running to hats and doing lane work with kicking and stuff like that. It probably needs to be a bit more causing the players to actually think and make a decision is pretty important, and that's what we always thought while we were coaching this year as well. And and it's much more fun. I mean, I think you would agree, match simulation is much more fun than doing lane work, kicking the footy or handballing the footy. So that's something we've kind of focused on the past probably few seasons.
Yeah, for sure. I remember when we were younger, it was more obviously, like as we touched on before, more like fundamental movement skills, and we're always like gunning for a game. But nowadays it's more like game orientated, and now we kind of get why, the extra reward of the game was like the final 10 minutes of training. So I guess it correlates over the years. So it's good to see the progression. I'm sure you say the same.
Yeah, oh, it absolutely is. And I think if you if you just do a game when you're trying to develop skills, it can be hard because some players might get the ball all the time, but some players won't get the ball all the time. And how does everyone be able to develop their skills evenly if you're just playing games all the time. So that's the reason for that. But yeah, no, definitely is different. And as it's great seeing the players be able to implement the things they've learned at a younger age now. And like I said, they continue to surprise you on a weekend in game day.
Yeah, that's awesome, mate.
Mm-hmm.
I guess let's touch on a more serious note. Obviously, you were the president at the Flemington Juniors footy club, and I guess can you talk me through how that kind of works and like the role and titles? Obviously, there's admin stuff, but I know you love a bit of the functions as well, like checking out the fixtures for each team, and yeah.
Yeah, oh, it's a pretty big role in regards to I think we had 300 kids involved at the footy club that registered at the footy club, 320 odd, and then you add all the parents, it's probably almost and the siblings, there's probably almost 1,000 people involved. So there's a lot going on, but it's definitely not yes, I was president, but we had a really strong committee down at the footy club at the same time I was president. So I was very fortunate to have a lot of hardworking people that helped me and did a lot of the work really in the end of the day. So yeah, we're very fortunate. It was a big dedicated group, but yeah, there's a lot involved, and it's most of the work is done, Jerry, believe it or not, over the summer. Is when you're busiest as a committee, and then by the time the season comes around, that pretty much looks after itself, because all the team managers and coaches, and they all manage the teams, and there's not a real lot of problems that end up happening during the season. It's just more you're just running, the club just kind of ticks over, and then it gets back to the end of the year when presentations and vote counts and all that sort of thing. You got to do a lot of organisation again, but it's a good role, but it is hard. 3 years I did it for, and that was more than enough. I was burnt out at the end. So and we're very fortunate. The club, Alicia took over from me as president, and she just recently stood down, and there's a new president, Matt, that's taken over, and he's got some things he's working on for some exciting things for the club coming up. So it's in good hands.
No, that is awesome, Luke, and I guess a wonderful experience for you, as well as I guess the coaching and balancing it all together. Like, I praise you for doing that, because that's pretty incredible, like handling all that. Yeah, even with the team behind you. So yeah, good stuff, Luke.
Thanks, mate. Thanks.
No worries. And obviously I saw yesterday, but GG came second in the vote count for the under 18s Div 2 side. But obviously exciting 2022 ahead, and I guess give us your thoughts on the possibilities, challenges you see the team facing next year, and I guess pre-season's fast approaching.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. I think as restrictions get eased, it'll probably pre-season will be just around the corner. Yeah, no, GG, who still is a bottom age under 18 player and finished runner up in the Best and Fairest. Yeah, he is. He's your age. So amazing player, amazing trainer. He
exactly.
He really he wins. He regularly he's in the top few in the 1K time trial. Oh, well, you might have to work on your time, Shez. I don't know what time you're running it in, but I'm sure you can, and that's good. That's good. Competition is always good, but he works extremely hard. He's very diligent, and how he prepares to play footy, and it shows on a Sunday. So he had a great season. Yeah, and obviously we did have a strong team this year. It was a very even side as well. It wasn't really. Yeah, GG had a great season, but I think we had 2 players just out of the top 5 as well in the vote count as well for the league best and fairest. So it was very even spread, and I think we had a lot of players that got votes as well. So yeah, we had a strong side. It was a bit of a shame in the end that we didn't get to run out and play finals and do all that. We were pretty excited to get to a finals, and we were very close to it. Pretty much got right to the end, and then it got called off, which it's unfortunate, but it is fortunate that we did get out there for 10 games as well. So we're pretty lucky that we got those games in and had a bit of fun, and the boys played really well.
Yeah, it's awesome with the boys, and I'm sure they've got like some unfinished business next year, so that'll be very exciting. And obviously, Luke, I know you love your footy, but I know Noah loves his basketball and like soccer as well. So I guess, do you want to briefly touch on your love for like Formula One and basketball?
Yeah, so I don't really have a basketball side, Jez. I do watch a lot of NBA, and I go to most Melbourne United games as well, so I watch a fair bit of the NBL. obviously didn't get to go to too many last year with the restrictions. Got to go to a few games over the summer, but yeah, really enjoy it. And Formula One, yeah, we've missed out on the two Melbourne Grand Prix this year and last year, which is a bit unfortunate. But yeah, I really do enjoy that. I watch a lot of that on TV while it's a Grand Prix weekend, and obviously follow Daniel Ricciardo pretty closely since he's an Australian. So yeah, but they're probably the two other sports that I really like. But footy is yeah, definitely number one, and Collingwood is definitely number one as well. So yeah, hopefully we get back to playing finals soon, Jez.
That's awesome, Luke. And just touching on Formula One, I believe I saw this on news, but Ricardo won one of the races a few weeks ago, maybe, and yeah, it was in a wide range of media sources around the world.
Yeah, he did. He won. About 3 weeks ago, and pretty much come from nowhere to win it as well, because he hasn't had a great season as he's moved over to McLaren to race this year. But yeah, it was definitely a bit of a surprise that he won, but it was great that he won, and his teammate finished second as well.
Yeah, just I found another thing earlier about Formula One, but apparently like the branding and stuff, as you know, like with like the different brands like Red Bull, Renault, like all that. I guess the race cars are pretty similar in design and all that, but like obviously you can transfer that into footy, and so many people are, onto the Nike bandwagon and all that in terms of branding. But do you reckon, similar to Formula One, footy boots and stuff, they perform the same?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, Formula One definitely it's all about how much money you've got. That's probably a bit of a problem. I think we're fortunate in AFL. It's great that we do have a salary cap, so it does kind of even up the competition. So it makes it pretty level, but it's not so much the same in Formula One. It is how much money you have to how good your car is, and it's all in the engineering and the mechanics that they have and how they work all that out. But that's pretty much based on money, which is probably not great, and it's probably a bit like soccer, I suppose, as well. But I do love that about AFL, is that it's very even, and then like it was great seeing Melbourne win the premiership this year. It's great seeing everyone kind of have their turn up top and their turn back down. So yeah, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. And obviously, you probably heard, but with the Premier League, I'm not sure if Noah's told you, but Newcastle have got like a big ass takeover with like all the owners apparently worth like billions of dollars. So they might be headed for the top.
Yeah, he was saying that. Didn't the same thing happen with Man City as well?
Yeah.
It's like, didn't they get bought out by?
Yeah, by like an oil investor, and yeah, I think Noah goes for Arsenal, so that doesn't matter too much.
Yeah. He does go for Arsenal, but he does tell me they're not. I don't think they're tracking too well this year, Jez, from what I hear from him.
You should follow the Premier League, Luke. I'm not sure who you go for, but I go for Leicester, and we're kind of similar. But we had a big win over United last night, so I've been giving
really?
the football boys some crap. Yeah,
that is pretty exciting. Where are they on the table now?
Yeah, we're like mid-table, so 11th, not going too well at the moment. And obviously, we love music on the podcast, and spoke to you earlier, and you kind of listen to a wide variety of songs, artists. Do you want to kind of give me your thoughts on the music you listen to?
I listen to lots of different music, Jerry. I don't like. I think I was saying it before. I just it depends what I feel like to what I listen to. Probably Coldplay is probably the band I listen to most, I would think. But yeah, I listen to a lot of older bands, probably prior to your time. But you did tell me that you're working on a 90s band song. So yeah, that's definitely my generation, Jez.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm sure you've been listening to like the Kid Laroi and all these up and coming artists as well.
Yeah, well, Noah plays a lot of music, but I don't really know a lot who it actually is that he's playing, Jez. I just hear it, but yeah, some of the stuff is good.
Oh, that's awesome, Luke. And it's a good segue, because obviously you know this segment quite well, but there's always people with like funny stories, and some are like a bit boring, but I'm sure you've got a very funny story to tell from your schooling days, and probably your footy that you want to share to the listeners.
Oh, geez, I don't know. Hit me up on the spot here, Jez. I don't know about any no funny stories from my school days. I can think of. Good spray. What that I copped?
Oh, maybe.
No, I don't think I've given too many, but no, I definitely remember. Coaching's a bit different now, Jerry, than what it used to be when I
Oh,
was
true.
coming through. It
Yeah.
was
So
kind
you
of,
caught a
yeah,
few. Yeah.
yeah, it used to be yell at people, and that's how you get the best out of people. But that's definitely changed. That's definitely changed now. So it's definitely a lot different. So no, I don't know. I don't really have too many horror stories or anything, or funny stories that I want to that I can think of that come to mind.
Oh, I think I've got one from like myself playing footy. I know, as I said earlier, I love my training, but I think there was this one night, would have been what, under 14s maybe. I think you were telling us to do a few 400s, like fartlek type stuff at mid footy, and I think I went too hard that day, and I think I threw up, and yeah, that was the end of my training session. So that was a pretty funny story. I learned to maybe take it easy on those 400s, but like keep it consistent pace instead of blowing up at the very first few reps.
Yeah, I think we've had a few times where people have been a bit
Yeah,
sick of training. I think when you finish school and you're really hungry and you go home and you try and get some food into you pretty quickly, and you
yeah.
maybe eat too much or eat too close to a training session, and then yeah, you can come to training and it might end up coming back up.
No, it's pretty funny. I think those like earlier teenager years, I think as you know, a few of us boys spent too much time on the PlayStation as well, so that was probably a big factor.
I actually do remember you telling me that you were spending a lot of time on the PlayStation. I think you are, and then you're pretty keen to tell me when I think you dropped it for a while, didn't you? Didn't you? I don't know if you do now, but you stopped. You said you got off it for a
Yeah, I
bit.
dropped it for a while. There was a
Yeah.
period from last year to, I guess, when FIFA 22 came out a few weeks ago, where I dropped it for a year. But I play it pretty much by myself now because I feel like even though I love playing with the mates, I'm not sure. There's a few online things that go to like early hours of midnight, so it's probably not good for my exams coming up. So maybe during Christmas and the holidays, we'll see. But at the moment, it's all podcast and school, I guess.
No, it's a good idea. Good idea. Yeah, I know it's
Uh,
yeah, Noah's into FIFA now as well with the new one that's come out.
yeah, I think I've seen him on a few times. Might have to verse him sometime, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. Anyway, so this one always gets people. I guess it's more like a kind of general thing, not so much footy. But what's the best piece of advice someone has ever given you, Luke?
That is a hard one. That is a hard one. I don't know. Probably the biggest thing is, I don't know if it's a bit of advice, or it's definitely advice I've been given. I don't know how it's been given to me, but it definitely is to take a risk and take a challenge, whether that be in sport or your work life as well. And don't just settle for what what you think you can do. You got to kind of take that challenge and challenge yourself to be able to do it. And that's something that I've definitely tried to do the last few years with my work and personal life.
Oh, that is awesome, Luke. Take a risk, everyone, because I'm sure you probably base some of your views off like famous role models and stuff. I know I recently listened to a few podcasts of like Kobe Bryant, and I was like amazed to see what he did, like waking up at like 3 a.m. And I guess the recovery side's probably not the best for like a normal person like me, but obviously his mentality was like at another level. So was there any other like role models you kind of based your like risk taking off, I guess?
Oh, not really. I mean, it's growing up in the 90s, Jez, where I was a teenager at your age in the 90s.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan was the biggest
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
person in anything. And, he was, I don't, probably a bit fanatical with preparation and determination and all that. So probably not good to go to those sort of extremes unless you want to achieve like he achieves. But
Oh,
yeah, no, I definitely I loved Jordan when I was growing up, and then probably some of the Collingwood people as well. But well, Nick Dacos's dad, Peter Dacos,
yeah.
was a pretty amazing player back in the 90s, and and obviously love of Collingwood. So anyone that put on a Collingwood jumper, mate, they were my idols back then when I was a teenager. So
And also like with Dacos, I know you didn't like us doing a few dribblers with the footy, but Dacos was one of the best with like the dribble kicks from the boundaries. So I guess I kind of learned a bit from Dacos.
I think
um,
everyone did. I think he kind of he was the first one to really make it an art form. And now anyone, a lot of players are able to do it now, but back then he was the only one that could do some of those things. So it was pretty exceptional.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, there's another thing about like the mental side and like about like work-life balance and other stuff. But what about the enjoyment factor? So, like, are there any books or movies you kind of recommend for the listeners that you've maybe read recently, or just like an all-round favorite?
Books. I like to read a lot of biographies. So if they're the books that they're the books I generally read. I'm reading Mad Jack Dawes at the moment,
Oh,
but I'm
I read
only
it. Beautiful book.
you read it already,
Yeah.
have you? Oh, well, I've only just started it, so
Oh, really?
I haven't finished it yet, so I can't recommend it yet. But it's so far it's been very easy read, so it's been quite good. But yeah, a lot of biographies and those sort of books are kind of the ones I like to watch. And yeah, movies and TV. A bit like music, Jez. I like listening to. I like watching lots of different movies. Like a good comedy, and yeah, watch a fair bit of probably more TV series nowadays rather than movies. It seems to be with Netflix and everything. It's all TV series and that now. So yeah, it's been good. And I've been. What did I just finish? I just finished Vigil, which is
All right.
on binge, and that was really good. So it's kind of action series, short series.
Awesome. Some great recommendations, and 100% everyone go check out that Majak Door book because it's quite extraordinary. I'm not sure where you're at now, but I think you are up to like where he was growing up in like Egypt and stuff. And I didn't even know this until I read it, but like half of one of his fingers he lost because of like a sewing incident when he was working. So
Yeah, I did read that. I'm up to where he was just starting to play football.
yeah.
Yeah, when he just joined and started, learning from markers up in the schoolyard.
Yeah, that's amazing. Especially like because Majak, obviously the journey and stuff, and like as we spoke about fundamental skills, like you probably have to develop that, as you said, like at a age probably like me or a bit younger, like 14, 15, where like so many kids are focusing more on tactics and stuff, which he kind of lacked when he was in the AFL, or still is.
Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? It's an amazing story to think that most kids that grow up here are starting to kick a footy at 5, 6, 7 years old and getting those skills. And he started, I think it was 14 or something. Jez said he started kicking a footy and said he couldn't kick a footy to start with to be playing AFL. That's an amazing achievement.
And maybe just quickly with Flemington again, we've had two AFL players obviously play for Flemington when playing the AFL, which was I think Jasper Pittard and Shannon Grant. But do you know much about like their journey with for footy club? Just quickly.
Not really. I think they both played and both ended up getting drafted. I think from another club. So I think Jasper Pittard
All
went
right.
down to more not to kind of Torquay or that sort of area down there. And I think Shannon Grant was around. I think it was before it was actually. I think we might have been called St Brendan's at that stage.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, because we used to the Flemington Juniors is actually really old. It's a really old football club, but it was a different name back in those days as well. So and in a different competition, I think it was Footscray District or something like that. So it was a different. Obviously it all changes over time, but yeah, no, definitely they're the two AFL players. I think there might be one other as well. I think that was a bit earlier on. But yeah, fingers crossed. I think we're that now that we've added female football, and obviously there's a lot of the girls are doing really well and getting down to Calder Cannons as well and Western Jets. So hopefully we can add more players to that list to make AFL as well as the other all the young boys coming through as well.
Yeah, it's amazing, especially because like the women's footy has developed over years. Obviously, we had Emma coach, who's a friend of the show. She coached a premiership a few years ago, and like it's awesome to see like so many girls making it to like Calder Cannons, Western Jets, and some of them are also like bottom age because I guess they go from like 14s, I think 15s to 18. So it's like you've got like 2 years of bottom age, and I think one of the girls won the best and fairest at like age 15 or something. So that's just incredible.
Yeah, I think that's from the because I think that our under 18s is a merge.
Yeah, right.
With Yarraville and I think amazing. if you're winning a league best and fairest and you're two or 3 years younger than the rest of the competition, that's an amazing achievement. So you think she's going to move on to big things?
We'll swap the segments around. So we'll go back to footy. So as you know, I was myself, Noah, the list goes on, alumni who've been on the show. But we won a premiership in 2016, and I remember that was just pure elation, Luke. I'm sure you were watching from the sidelines and very happy, and I think everyone was that day. But talk me through your premiership days. I think you've won probably double or a few more than me. But what's that emotion like when the siren goes and the process behind winning finals and just the whole ride?
I don't know how you felt, Jez, when you won it, but I think the first off is a bit of relief because it's quite stressful. I think going into a grand final, you really want to win and you don't want to lose, and so I think it's a bit of relief at the start when you do realise you're going to win. You guys were probably a bit fortunate; you knew that pretty early in the game. You didn't have to wait to right at the end, and I played in a senior premiership when I was 19, so my first year out under 18s, and I played in a senior premiership, and it was under quite odd circumstances because we were losing the whole game pretty much, down by a goal or two most of the game. It was very close, and then in the last quarter, with about there must have been 90 seconds, 2 minutes ago, there was a big fight between the two under 18s teams that had played earlier in the day in the grand final, and they had a fight and it spilled out onto the ground. So they had to stop the game with about it must have been about 90 seconds anyway. And so that all happened and we kind of regrouped a bit, but then the game restarted and one of our players, a forward pocket, kicked 2 goals in pretty much those 90 seconds, and we won by a point in a grand final. So it was pretty amazing. That was a great win and very exciting because, to be honest, with 5 minutes to go, it looked like we were going to lose until kind of fight broke out. But but then I didn't play in another senior premiership after that, Jez. I played in a lot of losing ones, so it's so you just got to enjoy those when you do win them. They're not easy to win, and you got to make sure you do enjoy them, which I'm sure you did when you won yours.
Yeah, similar boat, Luke. So we've only both won one premiership.
Yeah, that's about it. I did win another one. I won another one. I only won one senior one though. Yeah, I played in a lot of losing ones, Jerry. I coached a couple of losing ones as well, and they're very.
I was there that day.
It's always very disappointing when you lose, and it's really hard to get there, but you really want to win, but there can only be one winner on the day.
And touching on that, obviously the Pocket Rocket kicked the 2 goals to win the match, but Lee Matthews' theory was I think it's the amount of minutes left you can kick the amount of goals. So I think everyone should kind of have that mentality with 2 minutes to go or something. If it's 2 goals in it, you can kick 2 goals in the 2 minutes.
Yeah, it happens quite a lot, especially in AFL. They can kick goals really quickly. They could be down by 5 goals with 10 minutes to go and still win. So
yeah, I'm not sure North Melbourne can do that at the moment, but we've got some good forwards coming through like Zerha and Larky. So we'll see. Maybe next year we can cause a few upsets and push for the 8. Maybe
got a good draft pick as well coming through as well.
Oh yeah, Jason Horne-Francis. If we don't get him, we're out of our minds, So we have to.
You think you'd take him? You think he's home? Was he playing SANFL seniors already, isn't he? And didn't he get best on ground in the prelim? Yeah, so he's going to probably just go straight into your senior side, which would be great.
Yeah, it's good for, I guess, both players as well with Dacos coming through. So maybe next year both Collingwood and North Melbourne can cause a few offsets. So hopefully the boys don't roast us too much next year in their season. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And I guess a funny one to kind of wrap things up is called Quick Hands. So 5 quick questions. I based it around, as you know, 5 through a handball. So first question, Luke, is pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Yes.
Awesome,
definitely.
Same here. Second one is, back at school, were you an English or maths person?
Definitely maths. English wasn't my thing. Just didn't like it.
Oh, that's fair. I feel like I've switched around a fair bit. I went from English all through this year, and I'm kind of now back into the maths, but now it's like, oh, it kind of swaps around depending on, as you know, the stacks and all that. And yeah, anyway, what was your favorite subject growing up, Luke?
Would it surprise you, Jerry, that it was PE?
Love that, love that. Love that.
Yeah, definitely PE. I used to, probably more, those sort of things. I used to like doing. I was chef by trade.
Yeah.
I
Oh, we
was a
should
chef,
touch on that briefly.
and so like, no, but I so I obviously liked cooking and that back at school as well. And I did. Yeah, maths was probably the one that I did like more. English and history weren't really the things I was into.
Yeah, and just quickly with cooking, we'll actually ask this next, but two more quick questions. Favorite place to visit in Melbourne?
Because I love food, Jerry, definitely there's some restaurants in Melbourne that I love to go
Yeah.
to. So
Shout out.
I definitely like. There's a couple. There's one, La Luna in Carlton and Maha in the city. Are two restaurants I really like. And whenever I get a chance, I like to go out and eat some nice food.
Awesome. And are you a morning or night person, Luke, or does it differ?
No, definitely morning. Definitely
Morning,
morning. I get up early to do to go to work and do all that sort of thing. And not a real late night person, Jerry.
Yeah. Not like me a few years ago.
No, not yeah. You guys playing PlayStation and that. I know you go to all hours, but I'd be falling asleep.
And let's quickly touch on the food aspect. So, like, obviously, with running now, I kind of base my diet a bit more appropriately, I guess, compared to the early teens where we just got into the junk food. But I guess what are your kind of favorite foods to eat? I guess healthy and cheap cheap meals. I guess.
Look, cheap meals. I definitely like a hamburger, so I like
Yeah.
a lot of burgers, and that'd be my kind of go-to, takeaway meal. But and healthy food. Look, I like to cook a bit, so but yeah, like everything. I do really like Mexican food, so
Oh, yeah.
we do eat
Guzman and Gomez.
we do eat a fair bit of Mexican at home. What's that?
Go to Guzman and Gomez a fair bit. They've got some good takeaway.
Actually I do like that as well, and Italian food. So I like pasta. So we had a bit of pasta and that as well. So, but we have a bit of everything here. So do you cook at all, Jez?
Oh, I've been trying to get into the cooking. Obviously this year I picked up food studies just to improve my cooking skills, and I guess I can whip up a pasta, some cheeky fried rice every now and then. But been focusing on this peanut butter diet. So get a wrap,
What's that?
whip some peanut butter, and chuck some carbs in as well. So that's been going pretty well.
How often are you doing that?
So I've been having 2 wraps with peanut butter pretty much every day for lunch, and that's to help with the running and recovery sometimes, and just good fueling, I guess.
What carbs do you put in it?
Oh,
You,
depends on the day. Just pretty
yeah,
much anything. Yeah, anything with
good.
carbs. Lastly, to wrap things off, Luke, goal setting. So I love goal setting myself. Like I've got stuff written down, like with what I want to achieve for running and footy. But what's next for you in 2021 and in 2022, maybe with coaching and other stuff? But what are your top 3 goals, Luke?
Oh, that's a good question, Jez. I don't know with coaching, so I don't know what I'll do there, but
Yeah.
definitely with work, I suppose more set goals with work to be honest, and
Yeah, I love
it's
that.
probably
Smart
so
goals.
have have targets that I want to reach every all the time, and I think everyone has their own kind of targets and goals that they want to reach, and definitely doing that. And as far as playing footy, Jez, when you get to my age, it's just about not getting an injury. Is the biggest thing, is not getting injured, not doing a hamstring while you're running and all that, and trying to stay healthy as we get out of lockdown, and keep the exercise up, I suppose.
Oh, that's awesome. Some pretty I guess smart goals, because that's what we like on the podcast. And smart goals is really important in the work setting and I guess performance enhancing. So hopefully the boys can get into some goal setting next year as well. Hopefully I can kind of give them a bit of inspiration behind that, because it's like it actually helps with, like, if you have something to achieve or want to achieve, you're more likely to kind of achieve that goal.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think everyone that all the players that go to footy training and do all that sort of stuff, you all got a common goal, isn't it? And that's what one, you want to get better, and two, you want the team to do well. So that's the short-term common goal. And I know the goal is a premiership, but at the end of the day, only one side can do that, can't they? So you've got to have other sort of things you want to achieve out of playing sport.
Oh, that's awesome, Luke. And just quickly, I know you listened to a few of the podcasts earlier with some of the boys. Were there any funny moments or something just like that ticks over that you're like, geez, I didn't know this bloke said that?
I listened to Anthony. So Anthony Chalmers was
Shout
quite
out to
good.
Anthony.
And he was quite shocked when he heard that I said I heard your podcast, and he had a look of dread on his face to start with. But Anthony's good fun. So I like to tease him a little bit of training, and I've heard Tom Nelman belt out a few songs as well. So I didn't know he was such a singer. And I listened to Dylan's as well. So listened to a few of the guys that you've had a few of the Flemington boys on there. So that's good.
Oh, that's good. I got to tell, obviously Tommy that Luke loves his guitar one-string chords that he's been playing. So
no, it was good fun. It was good fun. Yeah. So you're doing a good job, mate.
Cheers, Luke. Hopefully I can get Noah on later on, maybe pre-season when COVID's all over. Awesome. I guess, Luke, it's been a pleasure chatting all things footy, both on the field and the coaching aspect, because they both coincide, work together. I'm sure all the Flemington Junior players will get around it. I'll get Dill on board, all the other boys, Josh Evans, all my mates, you name them. And so, anyway, special announcement. I'm not sure anyone's heard, but I'll be playing footy again next year. I guess I just got to get back into it, just missed it this year. So we'll see how we go next year.
How's that going to go with your umpiring, Jez? You still going to do the umpiring as well?
Yeah, we'll see how we go, but maybe I could take a year off umpiring and focus more on running and footy. So we'll just see how that plays out. And see you pre-season, Luke, maybe. Definitely see you.
Yeah, absolutely.